police officer shot in the head in Munich subway. A 26-year-old female police officer is fighting for her life after she was shot in the head at a Munich train station yesterday. 2 officers were called to the scene to respond to a brawl aboard a train on Tuesday morning. One of the men reportedly involved in the fight suddenly tried to shove an officer in front of an incoming train and seized his service pistol. The suspect then fired the weapon, hitting a female officer and 2 bystanders. The officer suffered severe injuries to her head, but still managed to return fire, wounding the man. The suspect fired at least 5 shots until the gun was emptied. He then fled the scene but was captured soon after by other officers. Munich police announced that there is no evidence indicating that the incident was linked to terrorism, and they believe the 37-year-old suspect was a one-time perpetrator. The state prosecutor said the suspect's only criminal past involves possessing a small amount of cannabis, and he will be charged with attempted murder in this case. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Seems like German train stations have become favored targets in recent years. Man with an axe runs amok in Germany. Several people were injured when a man wielding an axe went on a rampage at one of Germany's busiest railway stations. The attack took place at the central train station in Dusseldorf on Thursday evening. According to police, a 36-year-old suspect with psychological problems was arrested in connection with the incident. Witnesses said the man appeared to target victims at random. At least 7 people were injured, 3 of them severely. The suspect was also severely injured when he jumped from a nearby bridge, attempting to escape from the police. He was arrested at the scene. The police said the man lived in a town about 20 miles away from Dusseldorf and was originally from the former Yugoslavia. According to the cops, there were no other suspects, and they had no reason to believe the incident was related to terrorism. Afghan refugee attacks German train passengers. Several German train passengers were wounded yesterday when they were attacked by an armed 17-year-old refugee. An Afghan refugee with an axe and a knife attacked passengers on a commuter train in southern Germany on Monday night. According to reports, the 17-year-old assailant shouted "Allah Akbar" during the attack. 4 passengers were injured, 3 of them severely. Reports said a passenger pulled an emergency brake, and the attacker fled the train near the town of Würzburg. The attacker was shot dead by police as he ran away. Investigators were working to establish a motive for the attack. According to reports, 4 members of the same Hong Kong family were injured in the attack. However, the severity of their injuries was unclear. 14 passengers were treated for shock. Authorities said the 17-year-old refugee had traveled to Germany unaccompanied to seek asylum. He had been living with a foster family in the nearby town of Oxenfurt for some time. Crazy man stabs 4 at Munich train station. German authorities said the man who stabbed 4 people at a train station near Munich early Tuesday did not appear to be part of an Islamic network. The suspect from the western city of Hessen took a train to Munich on Monday morning. He then stayed there until he boarded a train to Grafing that evening and spent the night at the station. The suspect was barefoot and confessed that he had taken drugs at the time of the attack. He stabbed a 56-year-old man on the train after shouting "God is the greatest" in Arabic. He then stabbed another passerby on the platform. 2 cyclists, one of whom was delivering newspapers, rushed to help the victims but were attacked by the suspect in the front yard of the train station. Police arrested the suspect outside the station shortly after the attacks. Authorities said the suspect has given very confusing statements and he might be referred to a psychiatric institution. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
ISIS terror warning prompts Munich officials to close 2 train stations on New Year's Eve. Less than 2 months after the bloody Paris attacks claimed 130 lives, a city in the German state of Bavaria is on high alert following an Islamic State terrorism scare. Around 7:40 p.m. on Thursday, officials received a tip from intelligence sources in the US and France about possible ISIS terror threats in Munich. The tip indicated that 5 to 7 militants from Iraq and Syria would carry out a suicide attack in the Bavarian capital, prompting officials to close down and evacuate 2 busy train stations, one in the city center and another in the western Pa Sing district. As of Friday morning, at least 550 heavily armed and specially equipped officers were posted all around the city. The two train stations reopened some 8 hours later, after the immediate threat of an attack had been lifted. Though no arrests have been made, police remain in general alert and are investigating possible suspects.